All right, let us go deep on sugar. This is one of the most well-documented corporate manipulation campaigns in history, rivaling Big Tobacco. The Sugar Research Foundation's Project 226, 1965, was surgical in its execution. The happy Harvard nutritionists, Dr. Frederick Stair and Mark Hegsted, the equivalent of $48,900 in today's dollars to write a literature review countering research, linking sugar to heart disease. But here is the kicker. Stair was simultaneously invited to join the Sugar Foundation's board. While leading Harvard's School of Public Health Nutrition Department, the industry-examined article drafts, set the objectives, and even hand-selected which studies the Harvard researchers should review. The resulting 1967 New England Journal of Medicine article concluded only fat reduction was needed to prevent heart disease, and the researchers never disclosed their sugar industry funding. In the 1960s and 70s, the sugar industry achieved something extraordinary. They hijacked the research agenda of the National Institute of Dental Research itself. When the NIH launched the National Caries Program in 1971 to eradicate tooth decay within a decade, the sugar industry knew they could not deny sugar caused cavities. The science was too clear. So they adopted a different strategy. Deflect attention away from reducing sugar consumption toward other interventions like fluoride, vaccines, and enzyme blockers. The alignment was chilling. By 1969, the NIH had concluded that reducing sucrose consumption was not practical as a public health measure. The Sugar Industry Trade Organization and the NIH then worked in parallel and ultimately together on developing alternative research approaches. When the 1971 National Caries Program issued its first request for research proposals, 78% of the sugar industry's own research priorities were directly incorporated. They essentially ghost-wrote the government's research agenda. In 2003, when the WHO released guidelines recommending that free sugars comprise no more than 10% of daily calorie intake, the Sugar Association went nuclear. They threatened to pressure Congress to withdraw all U.S. funding from the WHO, the organization dealing with AIDS, malnutrition, infectious disease, and bioterrorism, unless the guidelines were pulled. They enlisted high-level U.S. government officials and asked the Secretary of Health and Human Services to use his influence to get the report withdrawn. This was the exact same playbook the U.S. used to defend tobacco companies against the WHO's Framework Convention on Tobacco Control. Here is where it gets politically complex. In 1977 to 1982, the corn syrup lobby orchestrated a masterful bait and switch. Wayne Andreas, CEO of Archer Daniels Midland, used connections with Presidents Carter and Reagan to lobby for sugar import quotas and tariffs, officially to protect domestic sugar growers. His real motive? Make imported sugar expensive so food manufacturers would switch to high-fructose corn syrup, which was subsidized by massive corn subsidies. Reagan raised sugar import tariff rate quotas in 1981 and 82, making U.S. sugar prices routinely twice as high as international prices. High-fructose corn syrup became one-third to one-half the price of sugar, and beverage manufacturers switched en masse. The Corn Refiners Association spent over $30 million between 2008 and 2014 to improve high-fructose corn syrup's image, even petitioning the FDA to rename it corn sugar to sound healthier. The FDA rejected this due to consumer confusion concerns. The revolving door between industry lobbyists and government nutrition policy is jaw-dropping. Kaylee Tikaichi, a former lobbyist for the Snack Food Association and Corn Refiners Association, makers of high-fructose corn syrup, was granted a conflict of interest waiver to advise the USDA on dietary guidelines and became chief of staff to the USDA Deputy Secretary. Between 2014 and 2015, food and beverage companies spent over $77 million lobbying Congress on issues including dietary guidelines. Analysis of the 2020 Dietary Guidelines Advisory Committee found members maintain prolonged relationships with food and pharmaceutical industry actors. 40 scientists affiliated with the UK's Scientific Advisory Committee on Nutrition between 2001 and 2012 Only 13 had no connections to the sugar industry. Kids' cereals are the most heavily advertised food product to children. A 2025 study revealed that 9 high-sugar cereals contain 12 grams of sugar per serving, about a tablespoon, dominate sales specifically because they are marketed directly to kids under 12. Lucky Charms, Honey Nut Cheerios, and Fruit Loops alone constituted 41% of total cereal sales in households with children. The critical finding: advertising targeting adults had zero correlation with cereal purchases, but advertising targeting children drove massive sales increases. Jennifer Harris from the Rudd Center explains. This research illustrates the necessity for these high-sugar cereal companies to effectively reach children, as parents are likely to refrain from buying these products unless their kids actively request them. School vending machines account for about $1 billion in annual sales. When Congress debated restricting them, the food and beverage industry mounted extensive lobbying campaigns, enlisting union beverage truck drivers, school coaches, and school boards. Connecticut lobbyists working for Coke and Pepsi were paid $130,000 annually, plus an additional $7,350 monthly, to one firm just to fight vending machine restrictions. The industry's winning argument: vending machine profits fund sports teams, drama programs, and other school activities, making schools financially dependent on selling sugar to children. Congress ultimately required only that schools have a wellness policy rather than removing the machines. Coca-Cola provided nearly $4 million to found the Global Energy Balance Network, featuring exercise scientists at major public universities. The group promoted exercise as the primary solution to obesity, downplaying soda's role. When other obesity scholars inquired about funding sources, connections emerged showing Coca-Cola had even registered the website because the academic members did not know how. Emails revealed Coca-Cola worked with sponsored researchers on conference topics at major international public health conferences to shift blame for obesity away from its products onto physical activity and individual choice. Meta-reviews show food industry sponsorship systematically skews findings toward underestimating adverse health effects of sugary drinks. Professor Stanton Glantz, who exposed tobacco industry manipulation, found the sugar industry was running science manipulation in as sophisticated a manner as big tobacco was back in the 50s and 60s. The tactics are identical. Fund favorable research, suppress unfavorable findings, attack dissenting scientists, influence government agencies, and manufacture doubt about scientific consensus. The lobbying never stops. Sugar producers, corn syrup manufacturers, snack food associations, soft drink makers, and agricultural giants work through multiple lobbying arms to ensure government food purchases favor their products and keep schools open to vending machines and Lockhart sugar-laden cafeteria offerings. This is corporate capture of public health infrastructure at every level, from elementary school vending machines to Harvard Medical School to the World Health Organization itself. In an age where diabetes is on the rise, and has been, and food manufacturers sneak sugar in places it never belonged, it seems sugar may as well be king, as it appears unstoppable by nothing but high-fructose corn syrup. This tale of an addictive nature continues to cause health issues to this day.